Our guest speaker tonight is Mr. Robley Evans. Robley grew up in Albany, Minnesota, where he was the youngest of 4 children of Robley and Rita Evans. He graduated from St. John's University. 2 weeks later, he married his wife, Joan. They've been married for 35 years. They now have 6 children and 2 grandchildren. He obtained a CPA certificate and is in his 17th year here as our business manager at St. Thomas Academy. 2 summers ago, Robley received a Leading with Faith award from the Catholic Spirit. He's also had a number of IBA, for those who don't know, Intramural Basketball Association, championship t-shirts in his closet. And with a stellar jump shot and the ability to cross over any unsuspecting cadet, he's planning on adding another one this year. On a personal note, Robley is very highly respected by all the students, by the parents, by our faculty, and by our staff. He's a dedicated Catholic who enjoys Father Jengdal's morning homilies every opportunity he gets. In his demeanor, his kindness, his work ethic, and his dedication to our Savior, Mr. Evans is a walking example of a man who truly lives his faith. Robley Evans. He is an accountant, so this may take a little while.
Well, thank you. I am truly honored to speak here tonight. And on behalf of the school, I want to welcome the Eagle Award winners, your parents, and also our outstanding faculty, staff, and administration. I have met with many families over the years, and in telling them why I think STA is special, I tell them our faculty is great and knows how to teach young men. But that is only half of it. We attract excellent students. You, who not only learn from your teachers, but I believe you learn as much from each other, backed by your supportive parents. You should all be proud of your accomplishments. As Mr. Meyer said, my name is Robley Evans, and I am in my 17th year as the STA Business Manager. I am a CPA by education, worked for an accounting firm out of college, and then corporate accounting for a number of years before coming to STA. As David said, I've been married for 35 years and have 6 children and 2 grandsons, and the grandparent stuff is a great gig. Some of you may know Philip, who is a 2012 grad, or Anna, who is a senior at Visitation this year. The first time I remember hearing of STA was 40 years ago. I was a senior at Albany High School, a small town in central Minnesota. Back then, and I think I've got this right, Mr. Zebarth, there were only 2 classes in football. And Albany was ranked #1 in Class A after a 9-0 regular season. Only 8 teams from each class made the playoffs back then. We were upset in the first round, and STA ended up winning the state championship that year. So I've always put STA on a high pedestal. Well, seniors, this is also my last year at STA, as I plan to retire at the end of this year. So this is my senior speech. 40 years removed from high school, someone thought I may have gained some wisdom to share. The English teachers will say that the topic for your senior speech should be original, but I have decided to talk about the 4 pillars, at least my arrangement. There have been many discussions over the years on the order of importance. I want to share my view of the 4 pillars as it relates to you as Eagle Award winners. Since STA is an all-boys school, I also want to share some stories about 4 men in my life: my dad, my 2 brothers, and my oldest son, Paul. Not sure you can be able to see all of it. First, I want to lay the Catholic pillar, the faith pillar, down and make it the base and influence for the other pillars. I want to share with you some thoughts and ideas how your faith can influence the aspects of your life, and in particular, the other 3 pillars. I like to view the other 3 pillars as a triangle, with college prep and all male being the bottom supports, and the leadership pillar on top. Colonel DiPulio has paid me a lot to put this on top. But listen closely, Colonel, because things are not always the way they seem to be. Students, you are the leaders. You are the achievers who have earned the Eagle Award, whether by pure intelligence, hard work, or a combination of both. So first, the Catholic pillar. And knowing that many here tonight are not Catholic, I also call it the faith pillar. I was born and raised Catholic and believe strongly in our Catholic faith. I went to St. John's University, where they have an ecumenical institute, and I learned more about my Catholic faith by comparing it to other faiths, and realized we have more in common than areas where we disagree. I've listened to many of Father Nels's 2-minute homilies. And the only one I remember, no, just kidding, Father, was on faith, hope, and love. These are gifts from the Holy Spirit, and we need to pray and work on obtaining these gifts. We first need to have faith that there is a God, and that God is there to guide us and keep everything in perspective, and that our faith influences the other pillars and our life. To find out more about hope and love, you'll have to listen to more of Father Nels's sermons. It is easy to have faith when everything is going well, but harder when it is not. This brings me to my first story, and I am connecting faith with my son, Paul. Paul is our second child, and he started at STA in 1999. Paul was always a pretty relaxed kid, but he did get anxious around tests. I remember during his first freshman finals, he got physically sick before Mr. Bassett's honors biology test. He was a bright student and did get through finals, but this incident was just the start of more to come. By his junior year, his anxiety literally shut him down. And even with the amazing help from his teachers here at STA, his therapist suggested that he transfer to another school. The therapist explained that the male brain at 16 has not made all the connections. We asked when that development is going to be finished, and we're told when he is 26. Not what my wife wanted to hear. Although Paul struggled, he did finish at another high school, moved out at our home, worked for 3 years, and served on net ministries for a year. He eventually made it to college, and while he still had anxiety at times, he learned how to manage it. He earned his accounting degree at the age of 27, got married, obtained a master's in accounting, and is working for a Big Four accounting firm, and had his second son 3 weeks ago. Paul never lost his faith. It wasn't the path that he had planned. But the lesson, be patient, don't give up, and don't lose faith. Let your faith be the guide over the other pillars and all aspects of your life. College preparatory is the next pillar I want to talk about. It is the one you probably spend the most time at while you are at STA. It's the intelligence foundation that you are starting to build. You are using the intelligence that God gave you. I equate this to the teaching of stewardship, using your gifts and talents. You know, gentlemen, the more you have been given, the more will be asked and expected of you. You have been given the opportunity to attend a great school with a caring faculty. Congrats on using your gifts and talents to achieve your Eagle Award. But this is not an end, only a beginning. Continue to do great things. So my next story is about my brother Bill. He's the smart one of the family, so it is appropriate to tell his story along with the college prep pillar. His is also a story of not giving up and finding the gifts and talents that were given to you. We are all different. I was the oldest, and my next younger brother and I both enjoyed sports and did well in grade school. Bill was quieter, didn't have much of an interest in sports, and probably only got C's in grade school. We came to accept it. That was Bill. In 7th grade in Albany, you moved up to the junior high, to a new school. Bill came home with all A's on his first quarter report card. We had all believed he was just an average kid, but in spite of our expectations, he found his gifts and talents. He went on to graduate with honors at the University of Minnesota, to become an electrical engineer, working for McDonnell Douglas and Boeing on F-18 fighter planes, developing the program that allowed the jets to more safely land on aircraft carriers. A couple of times a year, he would go out on aircraft carriers, put some new programs in the plane, and have the pilots test it out. They would come back, give him some feedback, and he'd do some programming changes and send them out again. We all have different gifts and talents. Discover the things you do well and use your gifts and talents. One side note on Bill, he still can't spell and his handwriting is atrocious. That's why he got C's in grade school. But he did figure out how to use a computer and spell check. The all-male pillar. I view this as the attitude pillar, the brotherhood pillar. It is about the life, energy, and enthusiasm you bring to others around you. It's about responsibility. It's about support you give to your friends and teammates. It's about trust and giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's about forgiveness and moving on. It's about treating others as you would want to be treated. It's about showing others you care. Yes, males, we can do that. And putting other needs before your own. I believe your attitude will have almost as much to do with your success in life as your intelligence. My all-male pillar story is about my brother Dave. I got my brother Dave the day before my first birthday. He was the epitome of all-male. You may not be able to tell with me standing here behind the podium, but if I stretch, I can maybe get to 5 feet 9 inches tall. And weighing in for our freshman football team, I tipped the scales at 98 pounds. My brother Dave passed me in height when I was 3 years old. And as the oldest child, I received hand-me-down clothes from then on. Dave ended up at 6'3", was a quarterback, an all-state football player, scored over 1,000 points in his varsity basketball career, and high jumped 6 feet 8 inches in track. But all these accomplishments I wasn't going to do this. Are not what his 3 boys see in their dad. Or why my 6 kids like their uncle. It's his attitude toward life. He always asked how everyone was doing, made everyone feel relaxed, and had everyone laughing and enjoying our time together. Dave did have one bad habit. He started smoking in high school. And although he tried quitting many times, the nicotine would always win. He was diagnosed with lung cancer 3 years ago. He went through surgeries, chemo, and radiation. But I never heard one complaint from him, even though I know at times he was in great pain. He died 15 months ago at the age of 55. Even his last words were not about him, but telling his wife that he loved her and the boys. That's my vision of an all-male pillar. On to the leadership pillar. There are many different types of leadership. There are more traditional, autocratic, and hierarchical models of leadership. But with the influence of that Catholic faith pillar, I want you leaders to know about servant leadership. In an article from the Journal of Virtues and Leadership, Larry Spears says, servant leadership seeks to involve others in decision-making, is strongly based in ethical and caring behavior, and enhances the growth of others, while improving the caring and quality of organizational life. The Bible tells us about Jesus washing the disciples' feet. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you should also do. As a leader, first take care of those you are leading. Listen to them, answer their questions. They can then do their work, making the organization stronger and more functional. You have to teach the freshmen how to march first before the platoon or squad can function as a unit. Right, Colonel? My last story, connecting with the leadership pillar, is about my dad, also Robley Evans. Besides sharing his name, I have tried to model my life after him. He was a teacher, coach, counselor, and administrator for 35 years at St. John's Prep School. And he also played intramural basketball with the students at lunch. He was a servant leader and one of my best friends. One of the prep magazines referred to him as the Rock because of the strong foundation he was for their school. And 5 years ago, when he passed away, we heard from many former students and faculty on how he had changed their lives by listening, getting to know them, and pointing them in the right direction. It is important to have good role models in your life. So students, take a look around you. You have some fantastic teachers and parents sitting right next to you who can show you a lot about life and be models for you. Gentlemen, congratulations again on receiving your Eagle Award. Work on your faith. It doesn't just happen. Do everything to the best of your ability and do it with life, energy, and positive attitude. You will be tomorrow's leaders. You need to choose how you want to lead. We are now at the end of my senior speech, where it is tradition to give a quote or play a guitar and sing a song. Is anyone a fan of Dan Fogelberg? Any of the older parents, older teachers? Mr. Weber, thank you. So in honor of my father, I would like to sing Dan Fogelberg's song, Leader of the Band. But since that isn't going to happen, I felt it would be more appropriate to end with a prayer from Mother Teresa. Dear Lord, the great healer, I come before you, since every perfect gift must come from you. I pray, give skill to my hands, clear vision to my mind, kindness and meekness to my heart. Give me singleness of purpose, strength to lift up a part of the burden of my suffering fellow men, and a realization of the privilege that is mine. Take from my heart all guile and worldliness, that with the simple faith of a child I may rely on you. Amen. Thank you.